And now, directly from the source, unfiltered and complete, Jesus Christ himself speaks.
I am who I am, the one who among many chose to live his personal life mission.
That mission was above all to personally and intimately deliver love and forgiveness to you. Through the divine presence, the salvation of human souls has always been my greatest concern. And I wanted to remind them of who they truly are. My mission was a matter of the heart, for I have always loved to stand up for the soul children who incarnated as humans on earth. Yet they were unaware of this, and so could not free themselves from the stranglehold of blindness, deafness, and ignorance. They believed they could change nothing about their fate, claiming it was predestined by destiny or by God. But that was the simplest way for worldly rulers to lead and manipulate people at will, instead of dealing with self-aware humans who knew their immortal soul and true potential. They believed that when they lost their body, everything was over. So they did everything to satisfy the body and its one-sided ego demands. Thus, the negatively programmed shadow ego ruled the human mind and veiled the divine core, so that it could no longer radiate its original light.
When the Father sent me to earth to take on and fulfill my voluntary mission, I was completely free to choose how I would live this task.
So I also freely chose to become a son of man. This allowed me to have all human experiences, to be equal to you, to feel as you feel, to better understand the emotions you go through as humans. I felt pain as you do, and I also felt joy. And when I was born and incarnated as a human, initiates knew of my arrival and set out to care for me. For it had already been agreed upon in the spiritual realm beforehand. But just as they knew, the shadow side also knew, and their helpers came to me as well. I had also made agreements before my incarnation with other brothers of the realms of light, whom I later met during my ministry. These brothers knew my mission and stood by me with love. Yet the counterweight, the dark side and its helpers, was strongly represented and held great worldly power and influence. My original, freely undertaken life mission as a teacher and divine messenger on earth ultimately fell into disarray due to political and religious influences. I lost my beloved family. Everything was abruptly cut off. Since I was human, This meant a great deal to me. And it is untrue when it is reported that all of this was deliberately planned by me. That is not the case.
The Jewish people had been waiting for a savior who would free them from the Roman tyrannical occupying power.
The people there were slaves in their own land, yet they expected a Messiah who would liberate them with violence. With the sword in hand, or at least with divine supremacy, since the loving divine Father would never send such a liberator. I wanted to show them that they clung to a false belief that degraded them into powerless puppets. I wanted to show them the path of non-violence, even if it demanded my own earthly death. I was aware of this personal risk, and I chose the path of truth out of love for my people and out of love for all humanity. I did not have to walk this path. If I had officially recanted the teaching I proclaimed, at any time before that point, I could have left the land to live my own personal freedom. But that would have been betrayal of myself and of the love for my Father. So I accepted the fate I had freely set for myself. The crucifixion thus became inevitable. It was my own test before myself. So see, I was never sacrificed by my Father. He never forced me to do it. The truth is, I did it